treasure so great that if it were discovered, it would provide so much power that the world never need fear running out of energy. Seeking this mother lode, diggers travel from one island to another in their flying machines, ever hoping that they'll find what they seek just over the horizon. Hope, despair, charity, greed, duty, power. Who can say what truly motivates the diggers?
Okay, I think I'm back in action, but is this actually going to work? It looks like it's stuck on the Mega Man 64 title screen again.
I want another flawless operation, same as the last one. I swear this train will be ours or my name's not Bond. Let's do it!
In a world covered by endless water, people are forced to eke out a living on the small patches of land that remain above the sea. The people of this world rely on ancient technology driven by quantum refractors, a powerful energy source. These refractors lie.
Okay, well, I am trying this again. I just took the EverDrive out of the slot and stuck Mario 64, the cartridge in there. So maybe the issue here is that uh, EverDrives just don't work nicely with live streaming. I don't know. All right, so it looks like we're finally back. Okay, I'm going to drink a lot tonight. So this is the EverDrive 3D, or sorry, Analog 3D, and it's looking a little dim on the stream itself compared to what I see on the TV, but that's, you know, there's HDR involved in this, and that does not play nice with video capture and streaming. So anyway, here's the front end of the Analog 3D, which you can see all the cartridges that I've stuck in here and tried out, blah, blah, blah. It's not showing my playtime, which is kind of weird. Um, so I don't know if there's supposed to be like a real-time clock or something. But in any case, anytime you insert a cartridge, it automatically registers it. Here, I've got a new cartridge I haven't tried in there yet. Let me see if I can find that. There we go. All right. So we're taking Super Mario 64 out. I hope this doesn't fry my system. Oh, lordy. Good heavens. All right. So let's see if this new cartridge comes up. It is not coming up. It does not like this new cartridge. Okay, well. Oh, yeah, there we go. Mario Kart 64. It didn't jump to that automatically. But yes, that's what I've got here. Mario Kart 64. And it looks like the stream is still alive. That's good. So I can answer some questions while I fart around in here. Cedar Stuff says, "Hi Jeremy, may I ask how is the fan noise? It's audible, but it's not super loud. It's not like running a fan-cooled PC. There is a fan in this to to help the FPGA operate because it's a pretty powerful chip from what I understand. But it's a very quiet whirring in the background. It's really not too bad. Let's see. J Green LE8XX says a couple of people review the Analog 3D and it seems only EverDrive X7 works and needs a BIOS update on the EverDrive. So I have an EverDrive 64 that I bought in probably like 2015. It's probably like 10 years old. And I have not updated it in a dog's age. And it's actually working fine for me, just not for the streaming. So you can see that I, in my previous chat, changed some of the display settings. So now you're getting, that's why it's so dark. Okay, because I had it on BVM mode. So there's a bunch of visual options, screen overlays you can apply to make it look like a cathode ray tube, and it looks really good on a 4K screen with HDR because it's counterbalancing the darkness, the dimness that happens from these overlaid scan lines and aperture grids. But if you turn it off, it's probably going to work best for the live stream. Turn it to clean. And there's a bunch of different options underneath each of the display mode settings that I'm not scientific enough to understand, so I'm not going to bother. But I suppose a reintroduction is in order because I vanished for a while. I am Jeremy Parrish. This is a Gintendo stream, coming back from the dead for the first time in many, many ages. And this is the Analogue 64. Someone just said video stream is only at 480p max. It should be higher, but I don't know why it's not. Like I said before, this is a new piece of streaming hardware, a new piece of streaming software, and it's giving me a lot of headaches. It's a very unhappy night, but I've got a lot of gin here. It's Gintendo. So I apologize that the streaming resolution sucks, but it's not my fault. I don't understand. But anyway, we can look here and you can see some of the hardware options. The N64 had like basically the same resolution as the PlayStation. 320 by 240 was generally what most games ran at, unless they had the expansion pack, in which case they ran at 480i, which that brings its own set of problems. But to kind of fake higher resolution and trick your eye into thinking that there was more going on with the graphics than was actually happening, there's a blur automatically applied to all textures. It also is making up for the fact that the texture RAM on the N64 was super low. So all the resolution, or all the textures had a really low resolution unless you used the expansion pack. There's also anti-aliasing on edges, so everything is softer and doesn't have that jagged stair-stepping effect that you got on the PlayStation and Saturn. So you can turn both of those off, which when you take off the blur and the anti-aliasing, it makes this look a lot like a Nintendo DS visually. Like when you play Mario 64, it's like playing Mario 64 DS on a big screen. But there are some games that the de-blur or anti-aliasing removal really works well on, especially anything with 2D graphics. Technically, Mario Kart 64 has 2D graphics. Those are all pre-rendered sprites for the characters, the racers, but I don't know. I feel like the Yeah, the deep blur actually kind of helps with them. But the anti-aliasing, I think, makes things look a little nicer in this game because there is a lot of 3D and it's running pretty fast. So anyway, that's those are sort of the display options. I can easily talk about this stuff and look at questions while it's running through the demo. So I'm just going to take away the overlay. Someone said, Mr. Fusion said, what button do you use to pull up the menu during gameplay? So it depends on which controller you're using. Analogue kind of wants you to use their partner's controller's 8-bit do. And there's a pretty nice controller that 8-bit do has produced, and they send along some of those for me to sample, and I like them. But I feel like if I'm going to do this, I need that dumb Trident thing, so I'm actually using an original controller. On 8-bit do's controller, you just hit the 8-bit do button that comes on every 8-bit do controller, and it brings up the menu. For the original controller, you have to hit Start and the Z button at the same time, and that brings up the menus. But it also has a tendency to register a button press, so it'll jump you through menus if you don't want. Cedar Stuff says, "Are you running it in unleashed overclock?" I don't think I'm in overclocked settings. I'm in the experimental. Oh, that's actually inactive. But if I quit the cartridge, I can look and see what the configuration is set. So it's set to automatically overclock, which I don't know what that means. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this game with the virtual expansion pack. Means nothing for Mario Kart 64. It does nothing. But overclocking might make it run more smoothly, although Mario Kart 64 already looks pretty good on N64. So I don't know if it's going to have any effect. And it's all going to be perceptual. You're looking at it on a 480p stream, so who can even say what impact it's going to have? But I do have overclocking turned on. It's entirely possible it's going to cause the system to explode. I don't know. It'll be a fun thing for us to discover together. All right, so let's see. And do I have... Okay, 32-bit color is on, so that diminishes the bitmap, the dithering. So it's been a while since I've played N64 beyond, this past weekend. So I apologize that my gameplay is going to be super sucky. Before I get started, let me see if there are any other questions people were asking. Let's see. Let's see. One Up versus CPU 64 says, this is carts only, so no 64 DD stuff. The Analogue 3D does not support the 64 DD. I think I mentioned this in the stream before it cut out, but the 64 DD was only released in Japan, and it's very expensive, and the games are really hard to find, and it's just like, it's one of those why would you do this to yourself kind of collector's things. So to plug into the 64DD, the original N64 had a slot, an expansion slot on the bottom of the console, which nothing else used. So I can see where Analogue said, you know what, this is going to raise the price of the system like 20, 30 bucks for something that no one's going to use, almost no one's going to use, so let's not do that. So it's a shame because it does diminish the one kind of weird add-on that the N64 had, but on the other hand, it did keep the price of the console down, so you win some, you lose some. All right. Someone said Neo Geo work's going to happen someday. Well, that's going to depend on someone hooking me up with the Neo Geo library, which probably not going to happen. So I'm way out of practice, so I'm going to be baby. I'm going to play 50cc. And let's see. Everyone loves Toad. Oh, this looks really good. This looks really good on the HD screen that I'm looking at, the 4K screen. I have no idea how it looks on the actual stream because it is 480p, and that's very sad. But I'm going to play as Toad, 50cc. You may laugh at me if you like. I don't care. Oh, he's got a much nicer voice in Japanese. Okay, I'm a big fan of the highway stage, so let's go there. Herikos says, Jin was always a part of the vision for the N64 experience. Yes, this console was definitely made by drunk people for drunk people. Alright, so Toad jumps. Oh, he smashes into Bowser. Bowser's ass spun him out. Good thing I'm playing on 50cc. So I can kind of get my bearings here. Whoop. A little too far there with the drifting. Oh, yeah. I'm really oversteering with this controller. So you get to see what it's like when a total moron plays Nintendo 64 on the Analogue 3D. Alright, I've destroyed Wario. That is probably a bomb. I'm not going to do that. This is actually probably the N64 game that I gave the most playtime to. Oh, oops. Slid right into that. You wouldn't know it from the way I'm playing, but again, that was almost 30 years ago, so what do you want? When this came out, I was working on my university newspaper, and we had some long nights that became much longer when I brought in my N64, and we all played Mario Kart for hours instead of doing our work. So I'm sure this is where everyone is laughing at me because I cannot play worth a crap. But if you look at the stream description, I did promise no good gameplay. So I'm going to wreck Wario there, as one does. Yeah. This is the good Mario Kart. I know there are others that people like more, but this one doesn't have blue shells. At least I don't remember it having blue shells. Maybe I'm just not good enough to get them to throw blue shells at me anymore. Wow, they're very aggressive with the bananas. So again, this has the texture filtering off and the anti-aliasing on. So it's not a totally console accurate representation of how the N64 worked. But once I get to the end of this race, after this final lap that Lakito just told me about, I can go back to the stream and answer some questions while it does the replay thing. Whoa! Very sad. I wasted my shells because I goofed on a drift. I don't know who that's going for. Yeah, one thing I like about this version of Mario Kart is that you still get pretty cool stuff even if you're in the lead. Oh, bastards. Yeah, take that. Whoa, whoa, oh, wow. That was not great. Unfortunately, I've got a... Oh, no! Badass Wario. If I don't come in first on 50cc, oh, no one's ever going to be my friend again. My parents are going to write letters to me. You're disowned, kid. Get the hell out of here. Oh, no! What am I doing? Oh, okay, well... I clutched something from the jaws of defeat. I guess that's good. Alright. Bartman3010 says, I have bad news. This is the first blue shell game. I'm so sorry. Okay, so everyone's telling me that. And everyone else is saying you are not alone in always smashing into cars. So, that's good. Alright. Oh, Jesse McConnell, 1175 says, yeah. But tell me about that Jin. Nothing exciting tonight. It's just the botanist. One of the mainstays. That was that's a good Jin. Okay, so that's some questions answered. I'm going to do another race, and then we should jump to another cartridge. I'm going to try some. Oh no, it's a snow course. Okay, you know what? I think we might be done with Mario Kart 64. I forgot this was a snow course here. No one loves those. Everyone hates snow levels. This takes place on the course from Slalom. I blew up someone, but I don't know who. Sadly, it wasn't Wario. I'm gonna wreck his fat ass. Sorry, that's rude. Not trying to be, body shaming. It's just Wario is a heavy style racer. So if I smash into him, poor little Kinopio goes flying. And I'm taking out my aggressions by insulting Wario's appearance. And wow, now I'm suddenly, getting the bad things. Okay, well I took out Yoshi, that's good. Okay, oh no! See, those damn slalom snowmen. Hate them. But on the plus side, since I'm sucking now, they gave me, a better gadget to use. Although the green shells kind of suck in this course because there's no walls. I pooped, as one does, and I pooped again. There's good poop and bad poop. Good poop is when you get a shell thing. Bad poop is when you hit a snowman. Yeah, take that, Wario. Whoa. Almost flew right off the course there. Oh no, I lost my bomb. My tactical deployment. I like that Toad has a little bit of an accent to his English in this version. Very cute voice. Okay. Okay, I've redeemed myself. I came in second, so there we go. Let's see. What are people saying in the stream? Morton Era said you haven't done a stream since what, like late 2023 or something? Yeah, pretty much. It's been a long time. I've had a lot of trouble with my current technology, getting streams working. Even tonight, I had trouble with my technology. But let's see. Elusive Robert Denby says, Analogue is some good stuff. My Pocket was a great investment. Yes, that is, to me, it is the king of portables. Retro portables, anyway. Someone asked if we need to change batteries in an EverDrive. I think that's only if you have the real-time battery, which mine does not. So anyway, I'm going to leave this game now. Are you sure? Oh, it doesn't ask if I am really sure. It just lets me go. Okay, so I'm taking out Mario Kart 64. Hoping it doesn't fry my system. I can't remember if it said you shouldn't do that, but we're going to try something crazy. A game I've never played before. That's right, it's Hey You Pikachu, showing off the fact that Analogue 3D seems to work with like every gadget or device besides the 64DD. So we are going to make use of the voice recognition unit. Let me make sure that the stream is actually updating. Yes, it is. Okay, so it's got the new cartridge. Let's go Umbrella. Oh, well, that's not good. It worked for me before when I did a quick run. So it is plugged into 4. Well, okay. So that's not showing the system in the best light. Don't know why the VRU is not showing up. I'm going to plug that in again. I did buy this from a random person, so... Oh, well... Nope. I don't know. Maybe it's just giving up the ghost. Okay, well, I'm not going to play Hey You Pikachu because it's literally impossible. So let's quit the cartridge. Okay, we'll try something different. I mentioned before Mario 64 looks like Mario 64 DS. So let's jump in and do that one.
It's me, Mario. Hello.
All right. Let's see. I'm gonna let Mario do his thing here while I look at the stream comments. If you are just joining, hi, I'm Jeremy Parrish. This is the first Gintendo in many years, but I was motivated by the desire to show off the Analogue 3D, which sadly my streaming software and system, they're brand new, never used them before, and it's only showing this at 480p, which is dumb and bad because this is a 4K capable system, but YouTube barfed on me when I tried to stream this at 4K, so I guess I gotta play it delicately. Let's see, someone said maybe the mic needs to be in before powering the system on. I actually plugged it in before I turned on the system for the stream, just in case. My name is Benice, or B Nice 2949. Says, thanks, Jeremy. You're a real one for being an East fan. I wish there were an East on this console. Alas. All right, so we are looking again at the hardware. So this has full blur, full anti-aliasing. You can see when I turn off the blurring, the anti-aliasing, everything looks crispier. But it's going to be more interesting if I do that once I actually start playing. So let's jump into this old save file and do the thing that everyone does the first time they play an N64 and run around outside the castle. That's right, stealing all his moves from Donkey Kong 64. It's Mario. Let's see. All right, what's a good vantage point to set myself up against so you can see some of the effects of the screen stuff? Okay, I've jickied the camera around. Let's try this. Oh no! All right, there we go. All right, so hardware. Let's, okay, it's got the virtual expansion pack on. As far as I know, that is completely useless in Mario 64, but hey, whatever. If I turn off the 32-bit color, you can see that the visual, maybe you can't on the 480p, but it does affect the depth and detail of textures. Things just look a little nicer with 32-bit color activated. If you turn it off, it goes back to the system default. So it's a 64-bit system, but the texture and video bandwidth was limited to 16-bit color. And even though it rendered internally at 32 bits, that's my understanding. So you can basically, you're effectively tapping into the CPU's color output by turning off or by putting 32-bit color at auto. Deep blur takes away the texture blur, and you can see, hopefully in the stream, that the textures in the distance, especially on the walls here, like those grates, they become a lot less fuzzy when I put on deep blur. Like this is natural, N64 in the NIC with the blurry textures, and here is blurred textures. You can see they're sharper now. And then you turn off anti-aliasing, which softens the edges of objects, polygon objects. And wow, all of a sudden it's real crispy. So this is Mario Kart, or sorry, a Mario 64 DS basically. It's like more pixel resolution and a higher frame rate. And I do have the, I believe I still have the overclocking set to on. So I don't know if that affects the game at all. It might give you like a smoother frame rate. It feels smoother to me, like more 60 frames per second as opposed to whatever atrocity the N64 originally rendered. All right, let's see. This door still locked. Bowser's laughing at me. Oh, you can really see the distinction between anti-aliasing and blurring with that text. Look at the way that text gets, it's like a bad JPEG compression. But you take that away and all of a sudden it's crispy. The anti-aliasing does not seem to affect the text at all, but it does affect the things around it. So we're staying in DS mode. And let's see, what's over here? I bet it's something cool. Melmoth54 said the game looks a bit dark. The N64, or the Analogue 3D is rendering everything in HDR. And that's not coming through the stream. I promise that on my screen, this game looks vivid, colorful, very beautiful. I don't know, on the stream here it looks okay to me. Maybe a bit dark. So let's see. DC Frank 4904 says, what would be good for an N64 emulator is for options to improve analog controls. Yeah, I played some Turok and some GoldenEye while I was doing my recording for my failed review. And going back to those games and having kind of expectations of modern FPS controls is really rough. I would love to be able to... No, I hate snow levels. I would like to be able to tweak how those games work, or at the very least, I'm hoping that Analogue adds support for other controllers, because the 8-bit do... Their equivalent of the Switch Pro controller is really good, and I feel like if I put some of those controls on the right stick as opposed to the camera buttons, those damn camera buttons, it could make for some pretty good first-person shooter play. I'm trying to remember. Can I jump up there to those things, whatever those are? Oh, if I aim correctly, which is tough when the camera is all swimmy. Yeah, it's tough to aim. Oh, it's tough to aim for something when the camera is constantly jerking you around. This was an era before they thought, you know what people would like is the ability to control how they see the world. They should see it the way we want. Dang it. Mario, you little toad. Yeah, okay, that's not working. I'm probably just wasting my time here, but, that's my prerogative. It's my video stream, by God. Almost there. It's been so long since I've really played all the way through this game that everything... Oh, there we go. Yeah. Got me a 1-up. Okay. Oh. That was there for no time at all. That's insulting. Alright, let's see what happens in this one. Oh, Mario, you missed. Mario is missing. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's the good stuff. Am I someplace I shouldn't be? Oh, this is one where I die if I don't get the coins quickly enough. Nice. So let's go ahead and get those red coins. All right, we're going to switch over to anti-alias mode again, because I think it does look nicer for Mario 64. It's fun to play in DS mode, but it's not really putting the system's best foot forward, in my opinion. So if you're just joining, hello, I'm Jeremy Parrish, an old man playing old video games on new hardware. It's weird. This is the Analogue 3D. I'm messing around with some of the games and some of the features so people can kind of get a sense of what the Analogue 3D is all about, because it's a pretty cool little thing. I wish it were a system focused on playing PlayStation games, because I like those a lot better than N64, but I can kind of understand. Nintendo is where the nostalgia is. Also, cartridges, easier to deal with than discs after all these years. All right, 7 down. Where's my last coin? Damn it! I do not remember. I'm disoriented. I'm confused. I'm old. There we go. This is maybe the easiest 5 coins ever. And there we go. Congratulations, everyone. You got to witness me figure something out that once upon a time I knew, but then I forgot. Although you did witness me miss a really easy 1-up to get. That was pretty embarrassing. Robbie Robot said, 3303, the library on PS1 is so vast, so much to test. That's true. If you tried to test every US, Japanese, and European release, that's something like, I want to say like 3,600 games. I might just be making that number up. But it sounds right. It feels right, you know? So just go with me on this. It's a lot of games. It's thousands of games. It was by far the biggest library of any console in the world to that point. So I can see why they would not want to test those. Anyway, I got a star, so I deserve some gin. Yes, Gintendo. That's the gimmick here. I play Nintendo and drink gin. Not necessarily in that order. Alright, so I'm gonna see if the eel can come out to play. I'm giving everyone an existential nightmare in real time. Everyone hates the stage, because that eel is a creepy little weirdo. No one likes that eel. But I have to go swim around and try to catch its tail, and I've inflicted this upon myself for your entertainment and edification. Alright, showing off those metal effects. Look at Mario. He's so heavy. Kind of like Wario. He's a heavy class. Oh, what? Alright, I can't swim right now. Very funny. Okay, so we are back in normal mode. There's Venus, the red coin. Thing's about to chomp me. Alright, I made it. Success. Kaplach. I think I might have gotten all the red coins already. Oh, of course it doesn't tell me. So I've got to go find the eel, tug on its tail. I'm all mixed around now. Am I going back to where I started? I don't remember. Nope, okay, this is where I was. We need to go. Sorry, not where I was. So now I've got to get that eel to come out and then chase it around. Oh! That's not what I do. Actually, I don't remember the secret for making the eel come out. Do I, like, hit it with a stick? I don't remember. But I do know that if I keep farting around, Mario will drown. Oh, there we go. Okay, now I chase the eel. This is like that stage in Strider 2, where you're fighting on a dragon in the sky. Oh, come on. Get it before you die, Mario. Mario, you dumbass. Oh, no. Mario's gonna drown before he gets a star. Oh, so sad. Alright, well, I guess I gotta go surface. Good times. Alright. Oh no, Card Opinion says there's no goddamn sticks, lol. So, I guess I won't be hitting that thing with a stick. Alright, we're gonna try this one more time. And then I'm going to play something different. One more game before I call this stream complete. At some point, I'm going to get a message from my wife saying, "What are we eating for dinner tonight?" And I need to be ready for that. I have to give an answer. There has to be a reckoning. So anyway, let's go find that little guy. Stupid little guy. That guy who killed me before. Let's see, I'm going to put the anti-aliasing on and the blur on. We'll see Super Mario 64 as our good friend Mr. Miyamoto intended. Actually, I don't think Mr. Miyamoto is my friend. I think he actually thinks I'm a moron. I fumbled an interview with him once, and then I was never allowed to talk to him again. So that's kind of sad. That's one of my great professional regrets. The time that I made Mr. Miyamoto say, "Who is this moron?" But you know, if every interview were a success, I don't know, life would be better. That's why I'm not allowed to be a games journalist anymore, because I made Miyamoto mad. I didn't even make him mad. Just just mismanaged the interview. I feel like the more I say about this and the more vague I am. Oh no, Mario! Now you're really gonna drown. Oh! Yeah, that's it. Okay. Good night. Her New Opinion says, did you really interview Miyamoto? Yeah. I've interviewed him a couple of times. Once about Wii Fit, and then once about... I think it was like... Oh man, I don't remember. It was right after Wii Music, and I opened the interview asking him about that, and like, hey, you know, that game didn't do, you know, as well as you expected. So what happens when something like that happens? Like, do you go back to the drawing board? You know, I don't know. I can't remember the exact details, but he wasn't quite expecting that, and I think I never get to go to Nintendo's house again. All right, so this is Star Fox 64. I put fresh batteries in my Rumble pack. Let's see what happens. Now the 8-bit do... Whoa, that was staticky. What kind of screen effect is that? Anyway, the 8-bit do controller... Did they add fake scan lines here? Or no, this must be like automatically set. Okay, yeah. That explains it. All right. So that's one thing to mention, is that the Analog 60... I keep on calling it the 64. The Analog 3D actually lets you configure the console on a per game basis. Like it doesn't just save information about the cartridges in the system, but then you can go in and tweak settings at this front end menu. And as a result, you will load those settings when you launch. So this has blur off and anti-aliasing on. I've set it to overclock and turn on the expansion pack, which will do nothing, but it's fun to do that anyway. I should show off some of the display mode options in a bit. Okay. Let's see if people are making fun of me in this stream. Okay. JWK427 said, that was a pretty good question, actually. Thank you. That was the intent. It was not like, hey, wow, you really blew it with that one. It was like, hey, I know you put a lot of yourself into Wii Music, but like, how do you respond to the fact that, you know, people just didn't connect with it for whatever reason? Even though it's an interesting idea, it just didn't seem to catch on. But I you know, he was expecting, this was not communicated to me, but this was supposed to be an interview about a specific topic. And I went in not realizing that. So instead of asking him about the specific topic that we were supposed to talk about, I asked about Wii Music, and then, you know, it was okay after that, but I think they took a note, PR took a note and said, this asshole can never talk to Miyamoto again. So that's my Miyamoto story. Good times. The Wii Fit interview was more fun. It was like, hello, my name is Miyamoto. Let's take a photo holding the Wii Fit balance board. Good times. Cool Saturn 25 said, way to speak truth to power, Jeremy. That's right, yes. It's me. I was putting that man in his place. He's so cocky with his Pikmin and his Donkey Kong and his shaping the direction of an entire medium with his amazing ideas. That'll put him in his place. All right. Routhouse said 13. Routhouse 13 said Nintendo PR is crazy. Actually, no. Nintendo PR is really good. And of all the companies that I worked with in my time in the press, I feel like Nintendo was one of the companies. There were like 3 or 4 companies that were actually really good, and like I felt they really had great ethics. I'm not going to name all of them. I'll let you all guess. But you know, Nintendo PR was one of those companies or one of those groups that said, like, yeah, we know you gave this game a pretty bad opinion or like a pretty bad review score, but you backed it up, so you know that's fine. You expressed your opinion and you supported it, so we're not going to blacklist you or anything. Whereas there were companies that definitely did try to blacklist me. But anyway, none of this has anything to do with Star Fox 64, a game about little guys in space. So let's see what I can do. You know, I haven't played Star Fox 64 in a long ass time.
Corneria, fourth planet.
Jesse M. McConnell says, have you tried Drum Shambo Gunpowder Gin? I've tried Gunpowder and the Sardinian Citrus. I have not tried the Pineapple Gin. I feel like pineapple is not the flavor I'm looking for in gin. But, you know, if you like it, I'll give it a shot.
General Pepper noticed strange activity coming from Venom. James McCloud, Pigma Dangar, and Peppy Hare of
Pentown 2 says, I feel like we skipped a few years of NES works. Yes, we jumped
Upon their arrival,
from Dragon Warrior to Star Fox 64.
Peppy barely escaped Venom and returned home to tell James' son, Fox.
Bartman 3010 says, a friend shared a story where they saw some Nintendo employee reading NeoGAF, reading a thread of people whining, and they were just laughing.
General Pepper has turned to a new Star Fox team, headed by Fox McCloud, to save Corneria and free the Lilat system once again.
Honestly, stuff like that made me think Nintendo very much like to stay on top of things. Yeah, you would be surprised by how much... This is turning into not an Analog 3D stream, but you might be surprised by how much PR does stay on top of things. I remember one time when I interviewed someone at Nintendo, the PR rep sat next to me and they had this like clipboard, and I glanced over at it, I think when they weren't paying attention, and it was actually like an information sheet about me, like what my favorite games were, and I don't know what else was there, but I was like, oh, huh. They actually have profiles on all the people that are, you know, getting invitations to these E3 interviews. You know, I can't blame them. There's some weird, shitty people out in the games press and just in gaming, so I can understand why they would say, you know what, let's keep tabs on these folks and make sure we're not inviting someone horrible. And that is why I never got to talk to me about it again.
You're the only hope for our world.
All right, so
Andros won't have his way with me.
So people are like, "Whoa, that's crazy! Nintendo had a profile on you," but no, I mean, like, a lot of PR does that with the press and with, you know, they know who you are. If you are writing about their games and conducting interview with their talent, they're going to stay on top of who you are and what you're about, and you can't blame them. Like, I did not think, oh, that's creepy. I thought, oh, okay, they're super organized and they actually know who I am and, you know, kind of have a sense of what I'm here to talk about. And, you know, in my experience, if you went in and didn't blunder in an interview, if you went into a developer interview and if you knew what you were talking about and you asked them questions that they didn't hear very often, not necessarily trying to catch them off guard or something, but just like put a different perspective on things, like that would go over really well, and you would get, you know, more invites to talk to those people because they're like, hey, speaking to this person was actually a positive experience. I'm good with that. So, oh no, I wasted some ammo. All right, so here we are in Corneria. Not the Corneria from Final Fantasy, the different Corneria. It's the area where they grow corn.
Flippy, watch out! Bogey on your tail.
So the audio in 64, this is Analog 3D. It's still crunchy analog, still crunchy audio, because there's only so much you can do with compressed data on a hard drive, or a cartridge. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, I'm trying to shoot things and also talk, and at my age, that's very difficult.
This is horrible.
But if you are joining, this stream is winding down because I did get the dreaded text message the one asking me about dinner.
Everybody stay alert.
So I'm going to be wrapping this up pretty soon. But this is me, Jeremy Parrish, playing Star Fox 64 on the Analog 3D. It's overclocked, which is why maybe it looks a little smoother. I'm sorry that the stream is at 480p. C button. No one likes the C buttons. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, right. I'm using new streaming hardware, new streaming software. So I don't really know what I'm doing here, and that's just kind of like generally in life, honestly. So yeah, I would like to stream more often, and by which I mean more than once every 2 years.
I could use some help here, Fox.
Falco, just deal with it.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to back off.
What a baby.
Do a barrel roll.
Oh, that's what they're always telling me to do. All right. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm spectacularly bad at this game while I'm talking. So, anyway, this is overclocked Star Fox 64, played by someone who does not know the game at all and makes a terrible mess of things. Anyway, I'm just going to kind of let this play out. Are there any final questions? I'm going to log off in a few minutes. So if you have any last questions about the Analog 3D, let me know, and I will post them in the stream chat, and I will try to answer them. I make no promises. This is not my console. I did not invent it. Husker said, "Do you drink gin in November?" Husker, why would I not drink gin in November? Like, is there some sort of strange law against that? A good gin martini, a good dry gin martini is amazing at all times of the year. Okay, so Fox McCloud is about to have a really bad day. Oh, there we go. Okay, Fox is dead, and I am free. Free to... Oh, he's screaming. Oh, wow, he's still playing. Okay, I guess this is a live... So, let's see.
Something's wrong with the G diffuser.
Bartman says, amazing how he goes from half health to nothing. What do you do, Falcon? Alright,
I could use some help here, Fox.
Bartman says, I'm curious about the performance of Mega Man 64 since it doesn't run great on an actual N64. The overclock, I think, seemed to help a little bit, but it's not like it's going to run super crisp. It's not like it runs super crisp on PlayStation either. I don't know that Mega Man 64, Mega Man Legends could ever run smoothly. That's kind of its charm. It's very much a game of its era, and it does a lot to kind of work around those limitations, and I'm okay with that. I killed Slippy's best friend. Yes, it's true. Oh, someone said no gin November. That's terrible. Who's here say, can you talk about the gin you're drinking? It's the Botanist. It's a classic. It's good stuff. All right, here we go. Fat Dragon Hats says, what do you think overall of the Analog 3D? I think it's really good. The Analog NT Mini and the Analog Pocket to me are still sort of the supreme consoles just because they support their original systems, but also have support for all kinds of additional cores. Like, I really thought the Open FPGA of Analog Pocket was going to be a standard feature going forward, and it's disappointing that it's not. I feel like it's not because Analog has got this new powerful FPGA in the Analog 3D, and it's like, oh, we can do a bunch of other systems with 4K resolution and things like that. So that's probably, why they're not giving you a lot of extra options with the 3D right now. But just in terms of the build quality, the visual design, it's by far the nicest of the non-metal analog systems. It has a really great feel to it. The design takes... The N64's console design is actually kind of bad. I've always sort of hated it. It just looks like they were trying too hard to be 90s, but not like extreme 90s, like graceful, sophisticated 90s, and it didn't quite land. This takes that and it makes it very streamlined, very crisp, with hard edges, but it still keeps the sort of trademark curves and roundness, so it doesn't look like just a slab on your console, on your TV console, which is nice. You know, it's not like Xbox Series X or something. At the same time, it's not like overdone. I don't know what they're trying to do with PlayStation 5, but it doesn't work. It's that nice kind of in-between space. It's just a really nicely designed machine. There's a good solid weight to the cartridges going in. I think the display options are excellent. With analog systems, you're always going to have firmware updates that add more features. So there's a lot of stuff that is not active or not present in the system right now that was kind of alluded to or promised before launch. But my experience with Analogue has always been that they launch a product and kind of get the basics there, and then they update it. And, you know, the better it sells, I feel the more it updates. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the system is like a year from now. It took a while for the Pocket to get open FPGA and some things like that. It still doesn't have the DAC digital analog converter support yet. So, you know, it takes a while sometimes for Analogue to kind of fulfill their promises, but on the whole, it's a really solid system, a really good way to play N64. I like it. I wish I liked the N64 library a bit more, and I wish I were better at these games. But, you know, this has inspired me to dust off N64 works, so you can expect to see some N64 retrospectives on my channel. Not often, but from time to time. It's been like 5 years since I've done one. I should get back on that. So expect to see something soon. Like I said, not often, but every once in a while, it's like, hey, here's what the future looks like in addition to NES works. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. I'm going to try to make streams happen more often, and my dream is for them not to be in 480p. So please look forward to that. That's it. I'm going to go eat some food, and that's going to be awesome. So thanks again for watching. Catch you again in the near future, I hope.